Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Tech Tuesday. We're going to be talking about our learning management system, Canvas, today. With me, I have Rob Dietz and Christina Corey. Both of them are part of our instructional technology team, and they have a wealth of information about Canvas. Before we begin, if you are new to Tech Tuesday, welcome, as well as everybody who's been here before. We do have a lot of people expected to sign on today, so we've turned off everybody's microphones, but if you do have a question at any point during the session, please feel free to post it in the chat. We'll be stopping periodically to answer any questions that you may have. We're also recording today's session, so at the end of the day, you'll be getting a follow-up email from me with a link to the recording, so you can go back and reference it, maybe share it with some colleagues who might be interested in Canvas. We'll also send you a copy of today's slides that have a lot of helpful links within it, so that you can go back and reference anything that we talk about today. So without further ado, I am going to send it away to Rob and Christina. Thank you both so much for facilitating today.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. Nice to see everyone again on another Tech Tuesday. Go ahead and hit the slide there, Christina. So, we have a very user-friendly learning management system here, and I'm going to go over a few examples of different ways it's used around the institution. So we have a lot of academic uses of Canvas. We're starting to get a lot more, unique and interesting ways to stretch Canvas to meet, certain learning needs that different departments have. You see an agenda here of what we're going to cover. I'm just going to start by going into, some of our real examples of how we're using Canvas here at Weill Cornell. Next slide. So first of all, this is basically just what Canvas is, web-based software that allows institutions to manage digital learning. Educators create and present online, and it can assess student learning, and students can engage in courses and receive feedback about skill development and learning achievement. Just to put this into kind of three different categories. On the left, we've got, this is how Canvas is used in the MD program and the grad school. These courses are synced to our student information system. So, course shells are automatically populating Canvas. Students are already enrolled in those courses in Canvas based on their registration status. And, these are big courses with, sometimes over 100 students taking the course all at once. So it's quite a task to get all this course material from various faculty members and get them, into the course in a way that students are able to use them efficiently. The middle little icon here is, just an example of how we're starting to use Canvas for departmental onboarding or NYP resident training, or just, to replace administrative tasks where you still need to have a differentiation of roles between administrators and students. We do some custom roles in that as well. And then we're even doing courses with Canvas that go outside of Weill Cornell. So, the Introduction to Telemedicine was a course during the pandemic that helped train any doctor, any physician who needed to quickly learn how to give remote care. And we helped a department create that course, and it's still up and running now. Another example, global health, which we'll go into. So these are students and learners very far, from New York. These are people in Africa or the Caribbean who need, unique training options there. Next slide. So this is a little bit of a view of, some of the things that we use Canvas for in our foundational courses. Students hit the home screen. they scroll down and they just see this is their daily, their course summary. So these are the things they have to do today. They see they have a list of lectures. If they select one of those lectures, they're going to see details about it, the time, the place it's happening in the Canvas calendar, and then also any auxiliary materials that they might need to prepare for that lecture, like slides or a transcript. Following the lecture, they're also going to have a video recording of that session that will be posted back to the calendar for them to view later and to work on as they're studying for quizzes. Next, and then one of our biggest task in ETG is actually the clerkships, because these are quick rotations, usually 2 weeks per course. Fewer students, so not the whole class of students, but 10 or 15 students in one of these courses for 2 weeks, and then after that's over, it rolls over, and a new batch of students is in there taking the same clerkship course. So these are, again, synchronized to the student information system. And then we also use a blueprint, which is a unique Canvas feature that allows many courses to share some common content, so that the administrators of the course only need to update the content in one place and it populates to all the courses. Next. So this is a little bit of a view of a blueprint in Canvas. You can see on the left, these are some of the elements that are within the blueprint. We have a couple of pages here. There's also some files that are maintained in the blueprint, and then pushed out to, I can see in the middle slide there, there's 80 courses already associated with this blueprint. So this kind of gives you a sense of the power and efficient workflow you can have if you have to update 80 courses or even 10 courses with the same material. It's much easier to do that using the blueprint feature in Canvas. Go ahead. Another use is the areas of concentration. So this is not one of the courses that's synchronized to the student information system. The students are not registered in the same way for this, but we do have all 4 classes of MD students in this one large kind of super Canvas course, where it's separated by class. So we have hundreds of students in there right now, and they have different sections that they see their own kind of progress and their own kind of materials. Some of the innovations we use here are custom roles. So we have advisors and mentors in this, so it's not just student and teachers, that standard workflow. And then they're using a lot of assignments in Canvas to help students progress along their path and to complete their areas of concentration requirement. Next. Then some of the admin sites. So this is using Canvas to take the place of, maybe a complicated form sort of setup, where you might, previously they might have used Qualtrics and having, a very complex set of forms that take data from previous submissions and link it to the same student. So this is one way you can use Canvas just as a way to, help either welcome new students to campus, or help interviewees put out the forms that they need and have it all kind of collected right here in one place using the LMS. Next. So this is just a little view of some of the things that might be found in such a course. We've got one module for admitted students, showing a page and several files. So these are probably PDF documents and forms that the students need to fill out and resubmit. And then at the bottom, I'm seeing some links to a campus map for new students, and a video recording that they might all need to see. And then some of the outside focus sites. You see a little icon here for the IDA site. This is one of the sites we've worked with a department to create, where they're training people in different states. So I think they've been focused in, California and Kansas, and they have a separate body of students and a separate, couple of admins from each of those locations to do this training. And one of the things we allow departments to use if they are targeting outside students and outside learners is we allow them to actually create their own user accounts and then enroll them in their courses. So, it's not synchronized to the student information system and registered that way. It's a little more open, to how they need to use it. Some of these courses can also be used for continuing medical education credit. Another example of one of these external courses is the Center for Global Health. Some of these research fellows in Haiti and Tanzania need to use an organized LMS to do their training. They run into a lot of issues with things like, I can't use Duo, and I can't use some of these higher tech internet-based systems that we usually require. So we've got, a way that they can just use a Canvas local login, and it's, not as restrictive to them. We, also the virtual lectures that are given here is one of the biggest parts of the course. So all the students, wherever they're located, are able to view the same content together and take the course together. And we'll stop here for questions, and it can be on stuff that I directly covered or just whatever questions you might have about Canvas.
For those who came in a little late, if you've got any questions, feel free to post them in the chat at any time during today's session.
I have the chat box open and I haven't seen anything in there yet. So I'll try my best to monitor as I start going into my little lecture here. So I'm going to be focusing on a lot of the different tools that Canvas offers. So I'm going to start with something that may seem super simple, but is very helpful. Customizing the tools menu when you're on your landing page in Canvas. So you have the ability to shorten your tools menu and only show the things that are important to your course, and you can even customize the menu titles. So that's done by just going into the settings of your course and going over to the navigation. And then what you'll see is, like, when you open up your course from the beginning, you could see all these different tools that are automatically just like kind of added by default. Now, this isn't the same for everyone, but in my instance, I had all these things turned on. And I work with a couple different course administrators to kind of, make it so that the landing page and all the menu items here on the toolbar are relevant to the course. So you go from this long list to this nice short list. Over here, you'll see this little eye icon with the dash through it. That means that, you've had this item, you're using it, but you have it hidden from the students or the viewers of this course. So just something to be aware of. So one thing I want to talk about is organizing content into modules. So since I've been here at Weill Cornell, I think that this is almost a little bit underutilized. I think modules are a great way to help organize the content of the course and keep the flow going. It kind of creates like a one-directional, a linear flow of what the students or the users should be doing in the course. A lot of times, there's information everywhere in Canvas with like the files and the pages. So it really helps kind of plan it out for the students. And you can include files, discussions, assignments, quizzes, videos, all these things embedded into your module. So this is from one of my neurology clerkship courses from one of my course admins set up. And I think they did a really great job. They labeled their module here and they have it available to the students. So these check marks here make it so that it's available. And they start with giving goals and objectives, the slides, case studies, and an external link here. You could see like the different icons are different kinds of activities that they have to do. So again, this is the teacher view that we're looking at right now. In this bottom module, we have it that they must complete all items in a module. So this is what I was kind of talking about before. It could be super useful to keep students on track by having them make sure that they complete each item, and you can kind of like set those restrictions as strictly as you would like. So you can do anything from saying they just need to, view each item and have clicked on it, or you can set it so that, this is a quiz right here that they have to take that quiz, this pretest, before being able to view the CT Head online module. And now this next slide is what the student view looks like. So it actually gives them little check boxes so that when they start completing them, these will populate with like a little check mark arrow. And as you can see, these other grayed out items are not available until the student completes this pretest. So I just think it's a great way. And we have people using modules in all different kinds of ways to watch videos and take exams. So definitely a cool feature to keep in mind. Now, the next one I'm talking about is the collaborations feature. So a collaborations feature can be compared to a shared document, but Canvas allows it to use the learning management system and Office 365 together. So by default, when you use a collaborations tool, it's going to take you to this page, and it is a tool that's built into the navigation bar. So, we could always go back and go over that for people who want to know how to get there. So to start a new collaboration, you would choose Microsoft Office 365. I'm choosing a Word document because I'm always finding that faculty and students and users need to collaborate on like one Word document together. So in my course, I only have 2 users right now. But under the People's tab here, you would see a list of all your users in your courses, and you could add them to collaborate in the document. So what's neat about this is you can create multiple of these documents and specifically assign it to, certain groups. You can create one and then create groups and assign it to the same thing so that the same group is working on this document. And what it does is once you click onto one of these collaborations that you've set up, it'll bring you to a Word document, and you can really use this for so many different things, like as like a whiteboard for your students to like write out different material, or you can just have, students collaborate on it. You could use it to create a sign-up sheet and have the students fill out information for like when they could present something or when you could work with them. So I think it's a great tool, and there's a lot of different use cases for it, both in the academic and in the administrative. So this is another tool I always like to highlight called the Link Validator tool. When you're going through your course content and, let's say you have a course and it's ran every year. It's really important to use this link validator tool because it searches through your entire course for you and kind of does the heavy lifting by pointing out the links that are in your course that may be invalid, unresponsive, or just dead links that no longer exist out on the web. So it'll give you like a list of, let's say, like 10. And then what you can actually do is go to your settings here, and then it will ask you to validate your links. This will be on the left-hand side, and then this table will be on your right-hand side. And it brings you to this page where you can start your link validator, and it'll actually bring you through the different links that you can replace and kind of helps you walk through it. So I have no broken links in this course that I was running it on. So yay, no broken links. The next tool is the accessibility checker. This is also something I'm very passionate about and something I promote a lot. The accessibility checker works within the rich context editor of Canvas. So for those who are creating lots of pages and have a lot of content where they're embedding different things on there, this helps you check that the specific information that's on this page is accessible. And it also helps by showing you different ways to fix those issues. So I just want to state that, accessibility is a really important thing, and it's not just useful to somebody who has an accessibility, but like we can all benefit from keeping our course content accessible. I know, especially when it comes to videos, I don't necessarily need the captions, but it is super helpful for me to have them and to have these scripts running. So I just think I really am promoting for people to have best practices when it comes to accessibility. So if there's more questions about that later, please feel free to reach out. So this is an example of something that is really common in our courses where we have faculty that put in, patient charts, and this is like an example of like, adding it in. And then at the bottom, you're going to see of the rich context editor that there is a little guy standing straight here with a number 4 stating that there are 4 accessibility issues on this specific page. So the accessibility checker will walk you through each one of those accessibility issue that it locates. So in this example, you see, there's no label, there's no title on this chart. So if someone was to run a screen reader or need a little bit of help when going through this content, they would have a hard time because it's not labeled. They don't know what this information is referring to. So after you go through that checker and you add the title in, it actually adds in the patient chart title to that item that you have within the page. So I just think that that's super helpful, that it actually walks you through the steps of repairing the issues, and then you can just apply them as you go through it. And then, yay, once you're done, you'll get the balloons that will tell you that there are no more issues. So now I'm going to stop here for any questions. If anyone has any questions about using these tools or about anything that we covered. The chat is looking clear, Rob, so if you want to go ahead and get started.
Yeah, and I'll just mention for the accessibility checker, I think, the most common things we see are going to be usually like colors, like if people are adding kind of a funky color palette to a page without thinking that, oh, maybe, the contrast between these colors in the background is not enough for someone who has, poor vision or some issue there. So and then I guess images. So, it's always good to put an alt tag on an image on a website, just so that, again, it's accessible to someone on a screen reader and just gives more information there. And then, after your course is all checked for accessibility and you've done your link validator and you're ready to publish it to your students, it's good to go into the student view. So right at the top, the very top right of your course, when you're logged in as the admin, you'll see, student view. And this kind of just shows you what the students will see once they get to your course. So you can see on the picture on the right, it has a little bit of a pink outline over the whole thing, letting you know you're in student view, and you're no longer you can no longer access the editing features as the admin. And then, that's really useful, especially if you have assignments that you want to open at certain times, or you have modules where you don't want everything revealed at the beginning. You can just double check that it's working the way you want it to. And then the last thing I wanted to cover is self-help learning resources. Canvas makes it super easy just to kind of get answers to your questions. There's a really robust Canvas community set up with chat boards and discussions, and all the the user guides are really laid out very clearly. It's easy to search for exactly what you need and what you're looking for. So from your your menu on the left, the help menu, you pull out the search for Canvas guides, and then you can get to where you're going. Usually I would look for instructor guides, and then you can often switch the things you're most interested in. Like if you're not a K through 12 teacher, then you can avoid we're looking in those guides and just focus on the higher ed content. So just to see a little bit of what that would look like, if you selected the instructor guide, then you would be brought to the next screen, which will show you a list of table of contents in that guide. If you wanted discussions, then you could pull that up, and you'd probably get another large list of subtopics under discussions. And then if you selected one, you'd get the how-to guide right here on the right. And then so there's lots of great resources available, even training resources, like take an entire course either from Instructure or from LinkedIn Learning, and there's just a lot of great options out there. So any last questions on Canvas or using Canvas at Weill Cornell? We have the Canvas request form. So if you go to the ITS help desk and look for EdTech Canvas request, that's the way you can get assistance with your course or consult with us about starting a course or anything like that.
And just as a reminder, I'll send all that information in a follow-up email, but if you do have questions at any point after this session, feel free to reply to the email and reach out to let us know once you maybe get started in Canvas that you're running into some issues, or you have some questions about how to do certain things. And, Rob and Christina can provide some assistance in that area. Any questions before we wrap up? I just want to make sure. I am getting some thank yous in the chat. So thank you to Rob and Christina for talking a little bit about Canvas today. And thank you to everyone for joining us. See you at the next Tech Tuesday.
Bye, everyone.